hi, hello, how are you? I'm Pia, and I have bought a lot of books this summer. I don't know how many are here. Actually, let's do a roundup. Let's do a count. 19, 20? Somehow it doesn't feel like enough. I've bought a lot of books. I have been many places. I'm finally landed in one spot now. I have some really great books that I've collected from my travels, some books I found at used bookstores, some UK editions, lots of cool things that I'm really excited to share with you, some new releases. Without further ado, I don't do a lot of book hauls, but you are in for a treat, so let's get into it. So first I have, like I said, some pre-orders that I got, so some new releases I still haven't read. It is what it is. So I have Once More Feeling here. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I got this on release day. I'm kind of matching it right now. I still haven't read it, but I know that I really liked this author's previous book, and this one I should love. It's like about Broadway singer, a pop star turned Broadway actress, and a second chance romance perhaps. Sorry, it's like bended and I'm confused. It seems like my thing, right? I'm gonna read it at some point soon. Another pre-order that I got but I have read is Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. This is the author's second book. The first one was Every Summer After. I really loved that book, and I really loved this book. Should I have, like, is it a arguably like good book? I don't know about that, but I do know that it made me happy, and it made me swoon, and it made me excited, and I really liked it. We have kind of two timelines in this one. The first one being when our main character Fern met this guy named Will, and they were in their 20s, and they like have this wonderful day together. And then the present timeline is 9 years later, and they are meeting again and they hate each other, or at least we are led to believe that. So I really like this book. I think it's a lot of fun. I just think that Carly Fortune does really great romance. Another new release I picked up is 19 Claws and a Blackbird. Very different, but this is a short story collection of horror short stories. This is by the author of Tender as the Flesh, which was one of my favorite books of last year. So I was really excited to pick this up. Unfortunately, this book didn't work for me. I read it this summer, so again, these books that I read will be in my summer wrap up, which will be coming to a theater near you very soon because it's going to be a long ass video. It had some stories that I liked, but mostly ones that I didn't love. But yeah, I actually got sent 2 copies of this book, so if you like want this book, maybe I'll put it on Pango or something. But yeah, they sent me 2 copies, so the other one's over there. I could get it, but I thought that would be weird to have 2 copies of the same book. I didn't particularly like this book. I might unhaul it. I don't know. Let's move on to some fun used books that I have picked up recently. You know I love used books. I prefer to buy used books. So first one I have here is Fiona and Jane. What is this? Oh my god, this is a cannabis dispensary. That is so funny. Why is this in my book? This is what I love about used books. This is a story about friends, and I don't know, I don't think it's told in dual timelines, but I think it is spanning quite a long time of their friendship, like 20 years or so, starting in Los Angeles, going to New York. And it's just about the powers of female friendship. It's a literary fiction. I mean, the cover's really cute. I love these colors, and that was like enough for me. That was enough to make me be like, $5, okay. Next, I picked up a book or two. There was a whole section of this author's books in this used bookstore that I went to, and I said to myself, now if I don't just buy all of those. You to know, Frederick Bachman is like my new favorite author, so I had to pick up Beartown and Us Against You when I saw them. This is the first book and this is the sequel, and then the new book is The Winners, which I have to read. But I have read these ones. I got them from the library, and I'm so happy that I own them now because Beartown is definitely one of my favorite books of this past year, and Us Against You is definitely one of my favorite sequels. These are so good. Like, this is about a town called Beartown, and there is just such incredible complexity within Frederick Bachman's characters. And in the first book, specifically, like plot-wise, there is a girl in the town who gets sexually assaulted, and the town kind of like splits apart into people who believe her and people who don't. And that's what the first book is following. The second book is following the events of the first book, and I assume the third book is following the events of the second book. I love Frederick Bachman. I love him so dearly, and I'm so glad that I own these books now to reread them and annotate them. I don't know if I can deal with like the heartbreak of rereading them, but I think I might have to. Then I went to this used bookstore and I found these books, and this was before I went to the UK, and I saw these editions of the Stormlight Archives, no, of the Mistborn series. fuck of the Miss Warren series by Brandon Sanderson, and these are the UK paperbacks, and I saw them at like my local used bookstore, and I was like, what the heck are these doing here? I need them. And they were $25, and they're like, only the first book has like a crack in the spine, like they're pristine condition, and I had to pick them up. Now I have read the first, I'm currently reading the first book in the Starlight Archives, The Way of Kings, but I do know that I want to be a Brandon Sanderson girly. I don't really know what these are about. I'm gonna stop holding all of them. They're kind of heavy. Just look at these covers. Like the US covers have nothing on these. I even looked at the Starlight Archives books and UK editions, and they're really pretty. If it weren't for the fact that my suitcase literally broke because of the amount of books it was carrying, I would have gotten them. But that is besides the point. I believe this is about a world or a magic system in which like ingesting metals gives you powers. Gosh darn it if I knew anything else about it. It's a fantasy book. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff going on to it. I don't want to say there's a like companion series because I could be wrong, but I think there are companion novels to this series and in this world, so I am interested in that. I just like love high fantasy from time to time, and I definitely want to read more of like the classics, at least the booktube classics. So this is definitely a series that I really want to pick up sooner rather than later. I own all of them, so that's definitely a start. A couple books I got from little libraries over the past couple of months. We have Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. This is a book that I've heard so much about, and I couldn't believe like I haven't read it. This begins in present day where we have our main character Dana, and she's a 20th century black woman, and she gets somehow like transported from her home in California, it says, to the antebellum South, and she just like is thrust into the world that is the South in that time and into slavery and all sorts of things. And I heard it's such a incredible read, and it's such an interesting premise. I've said this before about like kind of time travel-y stories. I think that they're really hard to do, but if they're done well, I really enjoy them. And I think that this is such an interesting idea that I'm really interested to see what like the hinge of the story is, what the hinge of this like magic or just like time traveling element is, and it just sounds overall like a really harrowing, incredible read. I'm very excited that I now own it. And it's apparently a Hulu series, which I did not know. Then I got Ona Out of Order, or Una, I'm not sure. This is another like kind of time travel-y story, time bending story. This is about a woman who, after her 19th birthday, starts experiencing every year of her life in a different year of her life than she is in. So she is in the body of her 51-year-old self, but she is her 20-year-old self inside. So she's in the life of her 60-year-old self, but she's inside a 30-year-old. Does that make sense? I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna make sense, but I'm hoping it does. She's just living her life out of order, I guess. And I did pick this up because I saw Kayla from Books and Lala talk about it and rate it pretty highly, I think. It sounded interesting. The author also went to my college, so that's bonus points. And I don't know, it sounds really weird and funky and a very unique story, so I'm definitely excited to try it out. The last book I picked up from a local little library is The Other Black Girl. This is a book I saw floating around BookTube, I guess when it came out, and I think this came out in 2021. Oh, someone signed their name in there. Okay. This is a book about the publishing industry and the racism within the publishing industry. And I read Yellowface recently, and I read another book about publishing. I don't know, but I really liked it, and I really think that I would like to read more books like it. I don't know at all if this is similar, but to me it feels similar. Seems to be highlighting similar themes. But yeah, I don't remember really what I heard about the book when it was coming out, but I just saw it a lot of places. It's a Good Morning America book club pick, and yeah, it just seemed like it's a thrilling an interesting book to pick up, so I picked it up and it was free, so what more could you ask for? And then by surprise, my mom actually gifted me a book, which is incredible of her. And this is called The Secret Book of Flora Lee. I have never heard of this book. This is, I'm blocking my light. You're in my light. This is historical fiction, I think. Look at how gorgeous these end papers are. Like, can we give her flowers? It's set in 1939. I'll read the little blurb for you. When a woman stumbles across a mysterious children's book, long-held secrets about her missing sister and their childhood spent in the English countryside during World War II are revealed. So I think we've got this kind of like present timeline looking back on the past. We've got World War II, which is one of my favorite time periods to read about, and a book that is mysterious in some way. And a missing person. Intrigued. This seems really interesting. I don't read a lot of historical fiction. I used to when I was a kid. I was that like third grader who was reading World War II historical fiction and people were like, what's wrong with you? But I haven't read one in a while and it's definitely something that I remember really enjoying. And just because I read so many things in so many different genres, it kind of just got pushed to the back burner. But I definitely want to pick up something like this, and now that I have this book, I definitely will dip my toe back into the historical fiction world. Now we have the outrageous stack of books that I got in London. I was in London for a month and I collected 7 books. The lighting is getting interesting. I just should show you. So I had a list of like some UK editions that I really wanted and was tracking down. So the first one is the Waterstones, I think it's the Waterstones copy of The Starless Sea in paperback, which I think is gorgeous. I do have this wonderful edition of The Starless Sea, which is my favorite thing in the absolute world. And it is just my precious little baby. And I want to read this again, reread it and annotate it. And I want another pretty edition to do that in because I don't want to damage that one. But this one's pretty with still being like a paperback. I really just don't like the US editions of this book, but this is my favorite standalone fantasy. It's called The Starless Sea. You might have heard me talk about it. It is so good. I mean, if you like portal magic, if you like stories within stories, if you like just like beautiful purple prose, like you will love the story. And it is just my favorite. I just love it so much. And I just got my dad to read it, so now I feel like I need to reread it. It's definitely going on my fall TBR because I think I need a reread of it ASAP. And I'm just in love with this cover. Like, most of these are cover buys. Like, I have no shame in admitting that. It was a very special day while I was in London. It was August 3rd. And if you know that August 3rd is Heartstopper Day. And Heartstopper season 2 came out and I didn't own the 3rd volume. So I went to this bookstore. It's called Gaze the Word. It's this indie bookstore in London. And I went to go pick it up because they had all these, oh my god, they gave me a bookmark. Shut up. Because they had all these like queer books in the store and I was like, what a perfect place to pick this book up and support a local bookstore. So pick this up there. I have of course read it. I've read it multiple times. I thought I was gonna reread it before the series came out. I did not do that, but I think it's my least favorite in the series, but it's definitely one that's fun. And if you want to know what my favorite moment is, it's when Darcy gets drunk. Other than that, I still can't believe that I didn't own this, and I do have the 5th volume pre-ordered, but I still don't have the 4th one, which is my favorite. So I do need to pick that up at some time soon, but for now, this will do to add to my little Heartstopper collection that I have over there. And then while I was in London, I had to read, of course, because I need to read books. And I didn't have any books with me, except I brought A Tale of Two Cities, and do you know how often I wanted to read A Tale of Two Cities? Very rarely. So I got a couple books to just read while I was there, versus Before the Coffee Gets Cold. This I recently included in my 5-star predictions video, and I picked it up specifically for that reason, also because it's hella short. And I was like, this can pack easy. These are basically like 4 stories set at this coffee cafe where there is one table where you can sit at it and you can sit with someone who is dead and like go back to a moment in the past, stuff like that. I don't know. So as you can imagine, it's kind of emotional. I didn't like one of the stories, and that was unfortunate for me. The other ones I really liked. They really tugged at my heartstrings. I gave this like 4.5 out of 5 stars. Again, it will be my summer wrap up and you'll hear more of my thoughts, but I did really enjoy it and I would like to continue with the series because I think there's so much to do with this kind of magic system and the rules that it's set up. And then I got this book, which is called Chlorine, another Kayla from Books and Lola recommendation. I saw Kayla read this and I picked it up pretty much, and I really like the UK cover. I do really like the US cover as well, but this is just really pretty to me, so I got it while I was there. I read this in a day and I really enjoyed it. This is one of the strangest, weirdest stories that I've ever read. It is about a swimmer, a girl who's a swimmer, and she has an obsession with mermaids and she decides to become a mermaid. And I genuinely, when I first read that, I had no idea what it meant, and now I do, and it's really crazy. Yeah, like I said, I'll talk more about it in my wrap up, but I'm really glad I purchased this. One of the most crazy original stories that I've ever read. So the last books all kind of go go together, although I didn't purchase them all at the same time. But I found and purchased the Name of the Wind series in the beautiful UK editions, because if you ever noticed, I don't own these. I didn't already own these, even though it's my favorite fantasy series, even though it's not completed. And I always put up the pictures of these covers. So this is the Name of the Wind, this is the cover. I have had such a hard time finding these covers. I've tried ordering them online, or I've looked into ordering them online, but I don't want to like accidentally get a mass market paperback size, because that just does not sound fun. But I love these covers. I think these covers are so much better than the US covers. Like, they're so beautiful and mysterious while being like gilded and like polished. I don't know. They're really pretty. Because we have Quoth right there and he's just like looking at you. Ah! Buying these has inspired a reread, and I've already reread them before. And then we have the Wise Man's Fear, which again is just so gorgeous. Like, the leaves like perfectly fit the fucking vibe of this book. And then Quoth here with the lightning. I sound like a fantasy girly, but it's because like contemporary books, like their cover changes are never that cute. Like, the UK covers for contemporary books are not, they don't hit, but the UK fantasy covers, they do hit. I don't love his little face. Like, I wish I didn't see his face. But other than that, they are beautiful. And then, sorry, we have the last one, which is The Slow Guard of Silent Things, which is the little kind of novella. But yeah, I don't know what I have postcards in all of these. I don't know how I will get the UK copies of the last book, when that comes out, when, not if, don't test me. But I hope that I will be able to get them. And again, I'm just so happy to have physical copies of these books that are my favorite books, and reread them until the end of time, until the next book comes out. And I love these books so much. Should I tell you what they're about? The Name of the Wind is a high fantasy about Quoth. It's Quoth telling his story. I sound like I'm saying wolf. Anyway, it's Quoth telling his story about how he became this like legend, and then like faded into obscurity. And he has 3 days to tell the story. That's why there's 3 books. 3 books. This first one is starting just like how he was brought up. He was like in this like traveling theater company, and then his parents got killed, and then he went to this like crazy magic university, and so it's basically Harry Potter. That's basically this book. And the second book is The Second Day, telling that side of the story. So lots to cover. And the books just get longer. Like, this book, the sequel, is 990 pages, and the first book is 660. So I'm assuming the next book is gonna be like 1200. These are the last books that I got, and I'm so happy with my purchases. Did I spend all my money on books? Yeah, I did. I didn't have a job. I traveled a lot, and I will be in debt. It was the summer of buying books. I don't know what kind of summer did you have? You know, tell me in the comments down below. Did you have like a hot girl summer? Did you have a book girl summer? Did you have a book buying girl summer? I have a traveling summer. What kind of summer did you guys have? Was it a sad girl summer? Yeah, let me know in the comments down below, and hopefully I won't buy any books soon. I mean, maybe I will. I mean, I have a birthday coming up. But I probably won't. It's fine. But anyway, those are all the books that I have purchased recently. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to all the things, and I will see you in my next one.